Welcome to the Physical Product Movement, a podcast by Fiddle. We share stories of the world's most ambitious and exciting physical product brands to help you capitalize on the monumental change in how, why, and where consumers buy. I'm your host, Ken Ojuka.
Hey friends, this episode of the podcast is short but sweet. It's another fun interview with our founder, Ken Ojuka. This one is from Alex Bayer's podcast, Genius Juice. They talk about why Ken started Fiddle, who Fiddle can help, and why inventory management might be a boring topic, but the benefits are incredible for your business. Plus, you'll learn some fun things about Ken, like his favorite sports team, the movies he can watch over and over, and whether he prefers NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. Yep, very important. Enjoy this out-of-the-box episode.
Hello there. So without further ado, our guest, good friend of mine, he had us and Genius Juice on his podcast, which is called the Physical Product Movement Podcast. His name is Ken Ojuka, and he's out of Utah. He's the founder and CEO at Fiddle Inc., and as mentioned, he has his own podcast as well. A little bit about him. Fiddle is a physical product ops platform for brands. Fiddle easily manages orders, inventory, and sourcing while integrating with the best-in-class apps to onboard in minutes. Ken, how's it going, my man?
Hey, it's good, man. How you doing?
Doing very good. What I love about bringing on people that have their own podcast is they know how to freaking do it. They have the lighting down, they have the angle down, and they have the audio and the microphone, and you have all three of those going on, so...
I guess I'm one of those guys now, huh? I liked how in the intro you said that 99 episodes is a warm-up. That's a heck of a warm-up,
Sometimes it's like, I play golf. It's like the first 9 holes, I'm just warming up. And the last 9 holes, I actually play. Anyway, it's like an inside joke around here. But, it's been great. We brought on some great people, like such as yourself, and we just love having these conversations. And we love for you to really share your story, for everyone out there. When we started, and not to talk about like me too much in our podcast, but one thing I'll mention is, when we started, we probably got maybe 100 to 200 views per episode. Now we're getting 4,000 or 5,000, on here. And sometimes for the viral ones, they're like 7,000, 8,000 views. Now the views aren't like people aren't watching the whole thing. They're watching like 20 to 30 seconds of it, but at least they're stopping on their feed and like watching it. So there you go. So anyway,
I wouldn't minimize it. Congrats on the success and 99 episodes. That's awesome. That's exactly. A small thing. That's awesome.
It's Wayne Gretzky. We should have, maybe he'll be making a quick appearance here. He'll skate by.
that's number 100, huh? That's your special guest, Wayne Gretzky.
Oh man, I wish. I think we have to get to maybe 1,000, then he'll start to actually notice that we exist. So we'll see. Anyway, all right, my man. So let's get into it. I want to talk about you because you've let me talk about myself way too much here. You've been very patient. Let's talk about the two things. Let's talk about you, right? About your background, where you came from, how you got into this industry. You have a cool background because you have this technology platform with Fiddle, and then you also do your own podcast. So tell us, how did you get into all this? Tell us your story.
Yeah, I think, I'm like a lot of people, had a brand, a physical product brand. And a lot of my motivation for Fiddle came from some of the struggles that we had in that business. And it really comes down to working closely with your manufacturer. They become a really trusted partner. And so after a few, let's just say less than ideal situations with the manufacturing, a good friend of mine actually started a manufacturer, and I was all for it. I wanted him to do it because I wanted him to be my manufacturer. And what happened was a couple years into it, he calls me up and asks me to come in and to build software for him because he didn't like the software that existed in his market. And I feel like that's what opened my eyes to, okay, I wasn't the only one with these problems that brands and manufacturers face. It's pretty common, and there needed to be a better tool. So that's kind of the origins of Fiddle.
Very cool. And is this does it integrate with ERP? Because it sounds like, managing inventory and integrating with other apps. It sounds like almost like an ERP, which for those that don't know, it's basically a program where it pulls in inventory, orders, shipping, sales, and it consolidates it all in one main hub. So it sounds like kind of a lot of the qualities similar to an ERP. Is it like that, or how's it different?
Yeah, it's a good comparison. Some people call us a light ERP, and so before you drop down some real cash on the big ERP system, Fiddle is a great fit. In fact, we have people who have an ERP system continue to use Fiddle for the advantages that we have in our software, and then use the ERP for the stuff that it's good at. But, we tend to focus on inventory. Just think of, okay, everything's built on an inventory platform. Then you've got purchasing, you've got sales orders, and then we've got production. And I think that we're just really good for CPG brands, especially those that touch the raw materials in some way. There's just a lot of CPG brands that are involved in that process. For one reason or another, they need to provide the raw materials to their manufacturer. And that actually adds a lot of complexity to the supply chain. And that's where our software, I think, really shines. Love
it. I can definitely say that as a manufacturer of organic smoothies, where you have, we have, coconut or chocolate or coffee or Himalayan pink salt or, protein. And it gets very complicated, not only sending it to the warehouse or to the co-packer or to your production facility, but also tracking it and then also line clearing it, bringing it back. It's like one of the areas where I think, just for entrepreneurs that are watching, where you lose inventory, right? Because you're not tracking it, right? You don't know what your loss is in the run, because there's always going to be some kind of breakage or yield loss. So I love that there's programs that are just tracking everything coming in production, things like Fiddle. So it sounds really cool. I haven't gotten a demo yet, but I'm definitely interested to see a video. Is it just Fiddle you said IO, right? Is that the website?
Yep, Fiddle.io. We've got a couple videos on there. I can shoot you something after we get off this. Yeah, I mean, you're right on. I mean, the way that we look at inventory is that inventory is money. It equals cash. Imagine, managing your bank account with just calling up your banker and saying, hey, how much money do I have? What you want to do is you want to see where the money's been spent, what's come in, what's gone out, where's it all going, right? And so Fiddle kind of gives you that. It's amazing how many businesses, just kind of operate by the seat of their pants. The best in class brands that we see succeeding today are really good at this operations piece. They're really on top of their inventory, on their purchasing, on their manufacturing. That's how they gain an advantage. So anyway, that's where we play. We think it's exciting. Some people think it's boring, but we love the space and are happy to serve customers in that space.
It's I will say that the subject is boring. Okay, so you're right about that. But the result is not boring. Like the result and the benefits from it, the fact that you're like knowing where everything is and tracking it, and that is literally money. And that's what people just don't, realize, right? Like, it's like going to Vegas and like going to a table and putting down $500 and they're chips. It's like they're chips. And then, and the casinos do that, right? Because, you just like, I'm going to bet the chips, and
it's just chips,
a chip,
yeah.
But the money attached, if there was money on the table, you're probably less likely to bet like people bet in like these games. So that's what inventory is. It's incredibly valuable, and it's tied to actual capital that your company needs to survive and grow. So I'm right there with you, and I find it fascinating because I go through these growing, we go through as a team, we go through these growing pains every single day. Let's talk about your podcast, okay? So Genius Juice was on it. I can't remember what episode.
Awesome episode. Yeah, I can't either, but awesome episode. We loved your story.
For sure. And I remember it was awesome doing the interview. I remember he reached out to us on LinkedIn. I'm just like, I'm a big fan of I love being on podcasts. The more that we can get our brand out there and more exposure is better. But what I loved about your podcast, and you can definitely talk more about it, but what I loved was that you really kind of, you ask the right questions, you get into the story, you get into the emotions behind it, you get into the mission behind the brand, you kind of go a cut deeper than a lot of other podcasts out there. So that's what I really liked about it. So it's called Physical Product Movement Podcast. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. It's, you can find on LinkedIn. I've seen previews on LinkedIn as well. So tell us why you started this, like what motivated you, and some guests they've, besides Genius Juice, they've had on the show.
Yeah, sure. I'll be honest with you. The reason that I started it is kind of a selfish thing. I love CPG brands. I love brands. I love entrepreneurship. I love hearing the story. And we just wanted to get more involved in the community. So, reaching out to people that we think are cool and doing great things, products that we feel like are making a difference. And we just talk, and so for me, it's all about, I just want to get in the mind of the entrepreneur, the motivations behind, doing something as crazy as starting your own business and launching a product out into the world, in a lot of cases, making huge sacrifices in order to do so, and really kind of believing in something. And so for me, that's motivating. It gets my juices going. I get pumped up off of those stories, and it gives me a little bit of extra motivation to keep going. And so we started the podcast for CPG brands, people that are in the trenches doing the hard work, so that they can hear other people's stories, So, we just had the founder of Hint Water on, Kara.
Kara
awesome.
Golden, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was awesome. She was one of my favorite guests.
Love it.
Really motivational. She's kind of gotten out of the day-to-day of the company, but she's really trying to make a difference in the world and kind of use the position that she's earned as a successful entrepreneur to really make a difference. So I think that's pretty cool. Mark Seiden, we of course had you, and I just love it. So we've had a lot of great guests. We have a bunch more queued up, and I'm pretty excited for the future.
Yeah, what's cool about just podcasts in general is like, and something that we try to do, it doesn't always happen on every episode, is going really deeper than just what they do, right? It's really about why, the kind of the Simon Sinek thing, why they do it, what motivated them, what inspired them, what's their story, what did they do as a child, right, that, built them to who they are today. And I love hearing those stories, from different guests, right? Like, how they arrived here, and personal stories, and what are their hobbies. So it's cool. I think podcasts are becoming so popular because we don't know the people behind these companies. Like, most people don't know who runs Hint, right? They just see it on the shelf, like the average consumer, and they buy it. So it's good to have podcasts to really tell the entire story behind that entrepreneur. So it's really awesome. So continued luck with the podcast.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Friend.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think that one of the coolest things is realizing that these are just real people. They're just like me and you. They got motivated. Maybe they got motivated because of a lot of pain. Like, for instance, this guy, Josh Belinsky, right? He started a company called Slate Milk, and they are having a ton of success right now. He talks about how, as a kid, he just couldn't eat dairy. Like his stomach, he was just totally lactose intolerant, and it just was very painful to him. And so that was a lot of the motivation behind him starting Slate Milk, and so his episode will be coming out pretty soon. But it's cool to kind of find out, that, hey, this is just a normal dude. He had some sort of problem, and he took the initiative and, released something into the world, and so anyway, that's what I like about it. It's motivating.
Absolutely, man. Well, definitely you're providing a really great service, right? It's great because you promote, there's the other side where you promote yourself, right? You promote your business, you promote the personality and your account, right? And you're, on LinkedIn, but also you're giving a lot back to the community by sharing these stories. So it helps. It's like a win-win, man. That's what I love about it. So, all right. Well,
like this podcast, right?
Totally, man.
That's what you're doing too. Yeah.
Totally. It's 98.6% promotion of Genius Juice and 1.4% about our guests. I'm just kidding around. So, all right, let's get into our next segment before I dig the hole deeper for myself. And this is called Rapid Fire Questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
Rapid Fire Questions. All right, so here we go. I'm probably going to get some interesting messages after that comment, but it's all good, I would say any type of exposure is good exposure. If I can make people laugh or get angry at me, it's all good. it's ratings, man. Okay. All right. Shameless plug. All right. So let's get into it. I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions. Give me a first answer that comes to your mind, and we take it from there. And you know what? You're lucky too, man. You're lucky because the questions, a lot of people know the questions because they've seen several episodes with them. We're actually changing all the questions starting on episode 100.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you made it by like the skin of your teeth, man. Like with these, I think these are great, like softball questions. They're going to get a lot freaking harder for the next round. So, all right.
All right. Well, I'm glad that I got the easier question. So let's
Exactly.
do it.
These are questions that I like, and it's going to be much harder from here. All right, but here we go.
Are you asking like math questions or something? Like, I don't know. That's a lot of build up there for those questions. Nobody's going to want to get on the podcast.
I'm actually going to bring up, I'm going to be consulting with some of the most brilliant and genius minds in physics, mathematics, science, biology, and I'm going to amass 25 questions that only 3 people in the world can ever answer. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's do this. NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Which one is the one with Justin Timberlake? I like Justin Timberlake.
NSYNC.
So
that shows you that people love bands or groups just because of one person that flips the whole thing, right?
Yeah. Well, one of your other questions, that's kind of the way I am with teams too, with the sports teams. I'm one of those guys.
You know the questions, man. All right, here we go. You done your homework. I'm going to have to change that question now. So, all right, here we go. First thing you do when you wake up.
You know, we've got a 6-month-old right now.
Oh, congratulations.
So usually I'm getting up wondering how much sleep I actually got, sleeping through the night.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the clock and I'm dreading that, oh man, it's morning already, let's go. So that's been the routine these days.
Got it. So waking up wondering, how the hell did I not get any sleep last night? That's the first thing that happens when you wake up. Okay, just wanted to clarify.
It's a good thing this little baby is pretty cute because, man, he's not a good roommate, He is loud and he doesn't hold back.
Yep, as babies are. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
It's funny. My wife's going to hate me for saying this because she hates this movie. But I love Back to the Future, man. It's just one of these classics. It takes me back to being a teenager. I love the movie.
How could someone not like that movie? I mean, your wife doesn't like it, but man, I have not met many people that have not liked that movie. Such a great movie. And there's a thing on there's a thing on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us. Have you seen this show?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, Movies That Made Us, and they just released season 2. They talk about movies that are iconic, like Home Alone or Die Hard and Forrest Gump. And one of the movies in this season 2, they cover Back to the Future. So,
cool.
And it's really, you find out a lot about the production side and about how they had to fire the main actor that played Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox's character. So there's all this backstory about they struggled to make this movie. The original title to the movie was called Spaceman from Pluto. And the original actor, that was the director, not to get off topic too much, but the director and producer wanted Michael J. Fox for the role. They're like, we want Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox, he was on Family Ties, that sitcom from the 80s at that time. It was the number one sitcom in the country. They wanted him so badly, so they had to get someone else because the agent said, you're not getting Michael J. Fox. He's busy, right? And the number one sitcom in the country. So they got someone else. They filmed it for a month. The producers hated it. They fired the kid, and they begged Michael J. Fox to come. They paid him so much money, and they put him in the movie. Michael J. Fox was filming Family Ties during the day and Back to the Future at night on the same day.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I learned from the documentary. So.
Well, you've got my attention. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, it's really fun. The Forrest Gump one is also good. Tom Hanks financed part of it himself. And he said, I'm not going to get paid on this movie. I'm going to finance it. And if the movie does well, I'll just take a cut of the profits. And he made $40 million from the movie. So.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad at all. All right. Next question. So favorite sport. Oh, back up. Song you can listen to an unlimited amount of times.
I'm one of these guys. I'm kind of all over the place. Generally, I'm kind of in the hip hop, R&B type of music, but I kind of like everything. So I'd say right now, I'm a Drake fan. Money in the Grave is the song I keep listening to. There's another song by this girl named Lainey Gardner. She does a cover of Fleetwood Mac, Dreams.
Yeah.
I love that song too, and I keep listening to that, and so I don't know, those two.
Cool. All right. So favorite sport to watch, which is the one that you knew about already.
Well, I'm a soccer player. I played soccer in college, but I didn't like watching soccer in college. My favorite sport to watch is actually basketball. But lately, as I get older, I'm actually finding myself watching English Premier League and loving watching soccer. So
Very cool.
I don't know. I'm changing a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet?
Zoom, it's just the default. I like Zoom.
Yeah. What's great about Zoom is like Zoom for video is like Tesla for electric cars. That's all they do, and they do it really well. That's it.
Yep.
Window seat or sorry, I skipped another one. What is your spirit animal?
I think this is a hard question. I'd say a lion. I don't know. The lion sounds good.
There you go.
I don't know
you
why.
got the beard.
Sounds good though.
Got the lion.
There we
look.
go. Yeah, I'm growing my mane. Yeah.
Growing the mane. All right. Window seat or aisle seat on an airplane?
I'm a window seat all the way. I like to lean on it and go to sleep.
There you go. Peanut butter or almond butter or neither?
Peanut butter. Love peanut butter.
Omnivore, flexitarian, vegetarian, or vegan?
Omnivore. I'm good. My favorite right now is a steak salad.
Steak
salad. I want both. I want the salad. I want the meat.
You're bridging the veganism and omnivore all in one, right there.
I'm like offending everybody at once.
Exactly. That's hilarious. Cold weather or hot weather?
Oh, hot weather all the way.
Yep.
Grew up in Arizona.
Grew up in Arizona. You're in Utah, which does get cold, but it is hot as hell, right, during the summer. From what I remember going to
every winter, I'm ready to move.
Yeah. Every summer, you're like, this is why I moved here. So are you near Zion State Park?
No, that's a few hours south, but yeah, we go there occasionally. Beautiful part of the country.
Yeah,
everybody should go there.
Yeah. I fell down a waterfall, but that's another story there. So didn't break any bones.
Jeez.
I got lucky. Didn't hit my head. Well, I hit my head. That's why I'm acting the way I do. All right, next question. LeBron James or MJ?
I love them both. Right now I'd have to say LeBron. This is, in reference to that earlier question. I cheer for the team LeBron's on these days. I like LeBron. I love the way he passes probably the most. I think he's underrated as a passer.
Mm-hmm. But he has a lot of assists. He averages like 6, 7, 8 assists a game or more. Yeah,
I think he's an incredibly unselfish player, but, he's kind of got the reputation for being selfish. I don't get it, but I think he's a great player.
Totally. I love how when he goes in and draws like 3 people and then he passes back out for like an open shot.
Yep.
All right, ginger or turmeric?
Ginger all the way. I just love ginger.
Love it. Last question. Favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island, you cannot say Genius Juice or any other brand that was on any of your podcast episodes?
I'm just going to go with, it's a hard question, but, I'll just go with my favorite food. I love lasagna. That's one of my favorite foods. Anytime. Yeah.
Love it. All right. Well, very cool. This has been Rapid Fire Questions with Ken Ojuka, the founder and CEO of Fiddle, Inc. On a very special episode, number 99. So it's pretty damn cool. So you're just, 99's iconic. So thanks, man, for joining us. And definitely look forward to hearing more about Fiddle. If anyone wants to reach you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, probably just, go to Fiddle. There's a little chat icon. You can chat right in there. I'm usually paying attention to that. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. Just search for Ken. And then last name is Ojuka, Ojuka. I'm the only Ken Ojuka on there.
I was going to say, if you type in Ken, you'll get a lot of Kens. You type in Ojuka, you'll get Ken. Just him. All right.
Exactly. Yep.
Thanks, man. Well, appreciate you joining us on episode 99. Have a wonderful night. And again, congrats on your 6-month-old. So, yep.
Hey, thank you. And congrats to you on your success and 99 episodes. That's awesome. Good job.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
The Physical Product Movement podcast is brought to you by Fiddle. To find out more about Fiddle and how our industry-leading inventory ops platform is giving modern brands and manufacturers full visibility into their inventory and operations, visit fiddle.io and then make sure to search for Physical Product Movement in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Fiddle, thanks for listening.